This is Matt from Big Little Robot, and I've got here a review of the Wei Jiang M01 Commander, or otherwise I guess like a large KO version Age of Extinction Optimus. And this is the box that it comes in, which is actually quite amazing. This box is actually pretty big. It's roughly about the same size as the box for the MP10. And the artwork on it, I think, is great. It's fantastic. Over here on the top, just a little description of the item. And down on the bottom, here, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on this. Little artwork here on the side. And over here on this side, there's a QR code down here. The QR code takes you to the Google Play Store, and it has you try to download an instant messenger. I think that's kind of tacky. There could have been better use of that. And over here, just a little bit of information about it. The product, once opened, comes in a nice styrofoam box. And I appreciate that way more than the common, nothing in there, than the common clamshell that we're always receiving. It doesn't really add too much weight, so it's not that big of a problem. So here he is, opened up out of the package along with the accessories and contents. This thing is just truly amazing. Looks fantastic. I can't wait to get to it. For starters, this is just a brochure. It's got a little bit of the information on the other products that they carry. I'm not really going to go through that, but I'll let you guys see that on your own when you pick one up. They've also included a nice manual, and it's nice that it's also written in English. Some of it might be a little broken, but it's a heck of a lot better than what we've seen in other products. This also comes with a trailer sold separately, and that's totally an option. It mimics the MP10 trailer completely and goes with the MPP10, but can also be used with this figure. And I think that's an awesome addition that can be purchased separately, because I don't think everybody wants it. So definitely a nice choice to have. As far as weapons and accessories go, he's got two battle blades here. Those are very nice and have a little bit of Cybertronian writing on them. Doesn't really look Cybertronian, but how would I know? I can't read it. We've got an alternate face sculpt over here, and I think that's quite nice. I've actually switched it out already. He's actually wearing the alternate face sculpt that comes in the box, and I like the open face mask better. So this sculpt is different, and all it requires is you to use a small screw to put that in and out. And I'll show you guys that a little bit later. The shield. This is nice, and this looks very, very familiar to a lot of people, and includes a peg for different poses. That's nice to have on there. Pretty solid too. And finally, we have his gun or cannon or laser cannon or blaster, which is kind of nice and somewhat resembles what he had in the film, or at least the front part of this. But this might be my least favorite feature, and I'll just use it for the gas tanks. And you can just fold that up like that. Oh, why doesn't that move? Oh. And these actually swivel, so you can turn these around here like that. Put that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on his back now, just because I like the way it looks. And he also comes with the battle axe. I think this is probably my favorite, so I'm really glad they've also included this too. So, just to get these on real quick, there are two little slots that you can go into, and you can place them in like so. The other one like so. And I like them in because it just gives it more of a complete look. And as far as the figure goes, this thing is just absolutely amazing. I love this guy. The paint and colors on here are just absolutely phenomenal. Most of it is plastic except for the die cast that's located here in the chest. The mold of this is absolutely fantastic, and it just looks like a really serious upgrade to the Age of Extinction Evasion Mode Optimus. Aside from its size, they have made some improvements. One of the things I like is the adjustment of the tire. Over here on the side, the tire has been moved from down here and can peg in up here, and that's great, giving him a more film accurate look. A little extra to the shoulders to give him a better block solid look, and his spark, which can be visible just by opening up his chest. Like so. There are a couple things I don't like about the figure, and one of them has to do where he bends in the arm. It kind of looks like he bends in the forearm more than he does bend in the elbow, but there is a better range of motion, and his arm actually goes higher up into a bicep curl. But if you tried to make it straight, then you kind of have this weird looking broken forearm appearance. But that's a very minor detail. What I can't seem to get over is that he has 4 smokestacks, or 4 exhaust stacks, and he's got these 2 over here, and then he has these 2 over here. And that just bothers me so much. And I know they're there for the sake of the transformation, but I would prefer that these look more like the air cleaners and some prior molds of Optimus Prime. However, given the price, great colors, the mold, the details, the transformation, this is definitely at the top of the list for my favorite figures. So for those of you who would like to know about joints and posability, the one thing I can tell you guys for certain is that this figure is absolutely solid. Working from the feet up, he's got a nice little pivot here in the toes and here in the ankle, and he can even move forward and backwards. Here in the knee, and these knee flaps over here, those can be moved, and these are nice ratchet joints. I like that. His hips, they can move in and out from left to right and from forward and back, and you have a nice range of motion. The arms are probably the tightest of the figure, and they do rotate, they do turn, and I mean, it is really, really tight to turn this thing, but I'm pretty sure you could probably turn it 360. I don't see why you would really want to or need to, but it definitely looks as if it can do that. There's a nice elbow over here, and definitely the bicep curl is a big bonus, and it also turns at the bicep. He can swivel at the waistline, and his head is on a ball joint. And as far as features and accessories, if you would like to change the faceplate, then you would just go ahead and take out the screw that's on top, in the back, and you would unscrew that. And then these are his eyes over here, and you'd line them up, and they're not. Like so. And go ahead and put that right back on. I'm not going to put that on too tight because I'm going to switch it out later. And one other thing I forgot to mention, the hands do have a nice range of motion. You bend at the wrist, and the thumb is on a ball joint, and all the fingers are actually connected together, but they do fold at the knuckle. As far as the other accessories, if you wanted to put in a battle blade into his hand, you can do that like so. There's a little notch in the hand that allows you to peg in the battle blade right here. It's on both sides. If you want to change things up, you can use a battle axe, which is my favorite. Unfortunately, it doesn't really stay in place very well, but if you kind of have them grip it pretty tight, it shouldn't slide too much. Switching out the battle blade and putting in the shield. We've done 2. It also has a peg that will lock in. And finally, if you want to remove all of that and just have him with his gun, a gas tank, we can just take these back off again. Flip this out. Rotate this. Pull that in. Do the same. Put them together. And then we have his cannon. So there are certainly some great accessories with the figure. I'm putting him into multiple poses. But just to give you guys a feel for some of the detail, let me bring him up close and give you a better view of the details. Like I was showing you before, you can open up the chest. It shows a spark, but you can see that there's some hollow space in there. I don't think the chest clamps shut. I think it just stays closed with tight joints. Like I was saying before, one of the things that did bother me are the multiple smokestacks that he has. And as you can see with the closer look, he's got these 2 here, which are also miniaturized compared to these 2 here. I mean, it's not completely the end of the world, but it does kind of bug the hell out of me. You can see with the close-up, some nice detail back up in here. Closer look over here, there's a little bit of paint that's off on both sides, but that's no real biggie. I like this up under the arms. You get a sense for more of that robotic appearance. If the arm would move out of the way somehow. There you go. A little bit of some gold colored or brass paint would go in there nicely. The glass is tinted over here, if you didn't notice before. And then you have the flame work on the shoulder here and the forearm. And what I was saying about the elbow before is where it bends exactly, actually bends lower than the forearm. But it does give you a better range of motion into a bicep curl. But the only problem is it looks best extended here. Otherwise it's just kind of weird like that. The details in the back are really nice. There's almost no kibble on this thing at all. And one of the things I wish they had done was give us a more painted color of this. I would have liked to see these in a chrome sort of color, or maybe just painted silver. This is more of a gunmetal type color. And I'm going to put these right back onto his back. Coming down to the lower torso. These are the details in the back. You can see the trailer hitch plate over here. A little bit of detail here in the torso, nice and thin. Some nice paint detail in the legs. And this is what it looks like on the other side. I am a little bit bothered that the inside of the leg actually looks better than the outside of the leg. But I really can't complain when something looks this good on the market. A KO nonetheless. And that's what his feet look like down on the bottom. So that's all the close-up. So here's a side-by-side comparison with the knockoff Optimus Prime and the Takara APS-01U. And I really hate to say it, but I think Takara needs to step up their game. As much as I appreciate the amount of detail that went into this figure, I really like to cut myself for the amount of money that I spent on him. I'm so tempted to take some of the parts off from here and put them onto here. And this is what I meant about the shoulders having air cleaners versus him having 4 smokestacks over here. It's not a big problem. It just kind of bugs me. And like the really weird part is that this actually resembles an air cleaner down here in the bottom, but this is just a smokestack on the top. So there's got to be a way to find like a separate mold to kind of fit over this. As far as the hands go, I like the upgrade that they made to the hands here. Wasn't worth the price tag, but I like how the hands do have separate joints, actually 2 finger joints, and the ball joint thumb the way it's set up. But this isn't necessarily so bad either. And then if you want to get nitty gritty, you can see all the details over here. This looks a little better here. The knee flaps are bigger, and there's a lot of give and take between the both of them. Where I think how the feet look great over here, but this is a little more accurate, or how this just has way more detail than this. But I hate to say it, I love this figure, and I just might get rid of this one. And if you want to talk about kibble, that's a whole lot of kibble. There's just too much backpack going on. I think I just upset myself and I'm comparing the two. Oh. So it's clear that this figure takes a different approach into putting more emphasis on the robot mode than the vehicle mode. So here's the figure in his Freightliner alt mode, and it's not too bad, it's not too shabby. In this mode it certainly looks like a kid's toy more than anything else, but I think if you're going to have to pick between the alt mode or the robot mode, you're going to have to sacrifice one or the other. And the question is whether or not which one will appeal to you. For me personally, I definitely go for a better looking robot than an alt mode. Taking a closer look, here are those twin exhaust stacks. They just move a little bit here. And there really isn't much that this can do. These little side mirrors over here that fold out, that flap out. And that's pretty much it. You have the fuel tanks over here. Rubber tires, and it rolls decently. And I would say, even if possible, if you could avoid transforming it, do it once, get a feel for it, but certainly leave them in robot mode. That's what it looks like underneath. And from the back. I left some photos at the end of the video. If you like any of the information, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section down below. And I'll be glad to answer them. For now, this is Big Little Robot signing off, and I'll catch up with y'all next time.